All
We
right.
are live.
Live! Hi, everybody. Welcome to this installment of Damn Good Indies, where we're talking about Burnaway, where you play kind of as you can correct me a little bit wrong here, but you're kind of like a firefighter slash ghost hunter medium, and trying to help spirits pass on because the spirits in the world created here can actually ignite, and they are the things that set fires sometimes. And so you can't just put out the fire with water because that's not killing the source.
Exactly.
So real quick, just to kind of tell everybody who you are, where to find you, and like throw those links into
Yeah,
the Twitch chat as well.
absolutely. So I am Nagi. I'm a TT RPG creator. Been doing this for quite a while, although Burnaway is kind of my first big foray into relatively big indie publishing. So this is the first time I've done this stuff with a team. This is the first time I've really, you know, gotten this whole Kickstarter thing set up. And as of right now, I believe we're actually less than 24 hours away from the Kickstarter actually finishing up. Obviously, we still have a long way to go, but no matter kind of how things end, we are still fully committed to making this game happen one way or another. So we definitely appreciate any support in any form that people are interested in. And obviously, the best way to like keep up with this game if you are interested in it is like by following the signing up for like the email list, or just following us on Twitter or Instagram, whatever works for you. All social links are just at Arnamantle, which is the name of our creative brand. I will drop those in Twitch chat in just a second.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's I'm excited to play with you guys and see what happens.
Okay. So as usual, Don and I are going in without having done a whole lot of research into the rules. Like, we haven't pre-built the characters.
Yep.
But we do have a concept coming in. That way, we're not sitting here in silence, going through a bunch of the rules and everything. So we talked about a little bit of an idea. But one of the things that those of you that have watched us before know that Dawn, especially, and I have grown to like them as well, is any way to kind of quick start into a game.
Yep. Absolutely.
And they've got a few suggestions here to give quick starts to get you started playing, create a character pretty quickly, but still make it your character. So you still have your own drives, your own goals, your own personality. But as far as like the stats and what you choose, there's some roles given that can kind of help us do that. So to kind of show how those work and how that's going, I don't know exactly what role Dawn is taking yet, but I am going to take the role of a speaker. And so one of the things that my character is going to be trying to do is help these spirits pass on, hopefully finding ways to help them pass on peacefully, but then is also prepared for the instance when that may not be possible, or I can't find enough info, or inevitably say the wrong thing.
Yes.
So what are you looking at, Don?
I'm thinking about choosing the runner position.
Okay.
But I think the mindset of this character is that they're a bit in over their head.
Excellent. Good place to be in this game.
Like, immediately coming into it, they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought I was signing up for.
Just quickly, I'm not able to access the Twitch chat through the link. I don't know if that's just an issue on my end or whatnot.
It should bring you to the Twitch, and if you go into the channel, it should let you post.
Yeah, it's sorry. It's saying like, oh, that content's unavailable, something like that.
Okay. Did I put something wrong in there? Let me look. Okay, now you're refreshing. If you go to Twitch and just type in "Damn Good Games," it should pop up. I might have typed something wrong in there.
Yeah, probably. It is Jeff.
Oh, yep. There we go.
I probably missed a letter or accidentally hit a character or something. You know,
yep.
like you do. Yep.
Perfect.
I heard the laugh from the delay.
What's
Okay,
really
next-
fun is when you have 3 Twitch windows open and forget to mute all of them.
Surround sound with a delay.
Mm-hmm.
in
All
that
at
case,
different
I'm gonna
intervals.
Give me a second while I think I need to just quickly change the tweet to make sure that's linking correctly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No, thank you for that. So Don, I guess, are we already going to be familiar with each other as we do this, or is this going to be like, I answered a Craigslist ad to help with some ghost fighting?
I think your character is the one who talked me into showing up. Like, I feel like based on the way your character, like, my dude was just kind of like, hey man, what you been up to? And you're like, you gotta check this out.
So it doesn't specify, but it seems like this is probably like a known thing in the world too.
Uh-oh.
A supernatural level. Oh, are we good?
Yeah, you're okay. You had a hiccup there for a second. I wanted to wait just for a half second to make sure we didn't lose you this time.
So we're not like supernatural level where there's very few people that believe in this stuff that's out there. It is fairly common knowledge that this is what's going on. So yeah, I feel like I kind of, maybe we met out doing some other social activity or something, and you said something about it. I was like, okay, so yeah, this is what I've been doing. You should come to the next one and check it out. Like maybe it was a game of pickup basketball, and I noticed you got some physical skills, or able to fit into a tight space or something.
Exactly. You're like, wow, you can move quick.
Yeah, that'd be really useful in some of these situations if you don't mind, like trying to help people out in a little bit of danger. Okay, so we got runner and speaker. The builds that are on here for the speaker have some suggested skill values, which I'm just going to run with what those are, and also suggested specialties, merits, and tools. So I'm just going to run with the default layout to kind of show how it is. But with the tools, there's different. You get kind of, once you've created your character, you get kind of 4 bonus points at the end, and you can use those to buy like merits or 1 more stat point with all of them, or some extra money to buy gear, because there's a list of gear that helps with different protection levels from heat, or if your oxygen's a problem. So there are a lot of options here that's really cool, but it's not so many options that you're overwhelmed. Like the character creation rules thing, I was able to read through it in a couple of minutes, going through, taking a look at what's there. So
all right.
if it sounds like a lot, it's not as much as it sounds, and so it gets you. And I think it's a little bit easier too, because a lot of this stuff kind of makes sense. And like a heat shield blanket and a medical aid kit, this is stuff that you're not having to envision. It's not something from a fantasy world like a magic spell. This is something that is a little more real, so it's easier to kind of process that, I think, which helps with this as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I was designing tools, it's like I want this to kind of be like, near future, not like total cyberpunk. So it's like you can kind of imagine it's like, it's kind of what we have now, except a little bit more futuristic, applying a slight sheen, a veneer of science fiction.
Okay, and are you just gonna pull all the defaults from the runner too, Don?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a good starting place.
Yeah. So we both have a medical aid kit, so I like to see that.
Oh, we'll probably need it.
So part of this game too is dealing with kind of loss and grief and things. So like I said, I didn't read through the whole book, but I believe I saw a little bit of a kind of a warning about that in the beginning. Anything you want to kind of add to that or talk about that real quick before we kind of get into it? Just kind of like a content warning almost for people that are turning in before we get serious.
Yeah, I mean, this particular like kind of test play mission doesn't contain anything like super heavy, just because don't want to like surprise anybody with that kind of stuff. It's more that the game, kind of the game's themes and the things you can do with the game and stuff like that, do allow you to kind of like explore these, kind of dark places, whether it's like grief or loss or just, struggle within yourself or struggle with, losing somebody. So I think that there's a lot of tools in the game that will allow story guides to like build these kinds of really interesting and really deep narratives. Um, and especially it ties in with a grief mechanic where as your character experiences, maybe they're trying to do something but they end up failing or they end up hurting themselves or hurting someone else. They'll start accumulating this value called grief, and the more grief you have, the more difficult it is to kind of process things once the mission's done and dusted. Because at the end of every mission, we might not get to this at this particular point, but at the end of every mission, a character basically has to make a check where basically it kind of represents how they are attempting to process what they experienced, the choices they made during the mission, and the outcome of that result kind of shows whether the character has sort of like attempted to work through it and kind of like figure out, where do I go from here, how can I live like this from now on, or if they're kind of like taking a less healthy approach to processing and just kind of like avoiding it or like kind of find a different outlet for it. So there's a lot of interpretation there because I don't necessarily want to like I mean, obviously, grief is a very real thing in many people's lives, and it's you can't characterize it any one way or another. So I leave it kind of open ended for people to really put their own feelings and thoughts into it.
That was another thing I noticed and was really good too. Because, like you said, people process it in different ways, and their character might process it in different ways. So having that ability to just leave it like that works. And that was awesome you mentioned it because I was actually going to lead into that next, just in case we didn't. Because I feel it's a really great mechanic because there's not really a level up system in this game either.
Yeah.
So there's not like a way to gain power, but you could get money and get more gear, which would help out
Right.
with things. But this makes it so this is maybe not something for a super long campaign, but this is something that doesn't just have to be a one shot, and you can bring characters back or you
Right.
can create teams and go through. So you can have
Yeah.
this actually wouldn't be a bad setup for like a West Marches type game, honestly, if you had a bunch of players
Yeah.
that can all be at like
Or
that.
it's almost like a composition of short stories that are kind of building onto a central point. I can see that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it lends itself pretty well to kind of either an episodic kind of thing,
Mhm.
because I think that a lot of the basic inspirations were taken from certain shows that were like kind of more, like sort of contained storylines where you could have new characters come in, at any point and kind of integrate themselves into a shorter plot. But also, obviously you're going to get attached to a character and kind of want to continue their story and figure out, where they're heading. So you can definitely kind of push them and see, it's like, how far are they going to go? What's going to happen to this character? What kind of ending are they going to have?
So two other things, well, maybe three by the time we get to it before we jump into the gameplay. But dice for this game are just whatever dice you have and want to use.
Yep.
Because all you're doing is you're rolling to get an even number. So if you have nothing but D4s, you're set. If you have like just a regular set of like 7 dice, there's only 5 in here right now, but if you have a set like that, you can use them together for the same roll because you're just looking for even numbers. So the question that leads me into now is like how do you build your dice pool for the rolls in this game?
Yeah. So you might have noticed by now that you have kind of 5 main skills, which are essentially your abilities, which I guess would be your abilities in other games, right? So you have your endeavor, you have locate, maneuver, persuade, and utilize, right? So basically, off of those skills, you also have specialties. So basically, to build your dice pool, the 5 skills have a value assigned to them, right? I don't quite remember exactly the specific values for each like role. Can you give me like an example of one of your values?
I've got a persuasion or whatever that one's called. exactly. So it just says PER in here of 4
Yeah.
as a speaker.
Right. So let's say that you end up in a challenge situation where you decide, okay, I'm going to try and do a persuasion tactic. So that 4 means that you're going to have a starting dice pool of 4, right? And then you can also look down at your specialties and decide, oh, do any of these specialties apply to what I'm doing right now? If they do, you get another die to your die pool. And then you kind of look at, do you have any merits? Do you have any tools that are going to help you with this particular situation? If you do, you add those as well. And then there's also these things called forces, which are essentially just modifiers. Because of the small range, the small value range, because basically it's a success-based system, and the levels of success or the levels of challenge are from 1 to 4,
Mhm.
4 being like the almost impossible kind of challenges. Basically, you're not going to be building dice pools of greater than 8 or 10 at the most, probably. So a minor positive force is going to be like a +1 to your die pool, or a major one is going to be +2. And same with negatives, -1 to your dice pool, -2 to your dice pool. You're taking dice out of them.
Okay. You got any questions, Don? I'm trying to remember exactly what my third thing was now since I touched on the other 2.
I'm sorry, I'm transcribing stuff, so I'll remember it.
I mean, that's fair. That's why I got that screen up that shows all of. I wrote it down real quick. I got the screen right there that shows me the basic skills and everything like that. So the specialties and the merits are, they kind of just add to your dice pool, but it's like a +1 here, or maybe a +2 if you have a specialty and a merit. Because, like you said, you're not building insane huge dice pools. They're mostly going to be, somewhere in probably a 3 to 6 range is probably most of the normal. Is what it looks like if it's something your character is skilled at. And so the numbers on the chart, they're from 1 to 5, and so 2 is your average person.
Yeah.
Just for kind of a reference for everybody to see where we're at. So
Okay.
my lowest scores are, I have 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 4 in those for me. So the 3s are someone who is very proficient, skilled in that task. And what would you say is a good example of a 4 or a 5?
A 4 or a 5, I would say 4 is if we're talking about, for example, doing something athletically or some sort of physical thing, it's Olympic level athlete, just someone's really top of their game. And 5 might be out of all the Olympic athletes, the ones that are just world famous for what they do.
The human maximum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or just, the kind of thing where it's sort of meeting with almost power fantasy sci-fi level of oh my god, how is that actually possible?
The once in a generation athlete, the once in a generation brilliant mind, or
and because again, as you said earlier, there's not a lot of linear character growth happening, so the gap between 2 and 3 can kind of constitute a whole wide range of skills. It's not the granular 16, 17, 18 values in D&D or something like that. It's just more meant to give you a pretty quick sketch of what you can imagine for your character, because we're not trying to deal with a bunch of numbers here. We want to be actually role playing.
And it came back to me just in time. So the adventure we're actually running through today, because this is another thing Don and I liked, so I went and mentioned it, is there's at least 2, I think, kind of pre-made adventures for people running the game to run through.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
For those of you that are not familiar with the system or not familiar with running a game, there's examples that you can read through and actually play through with players, which can then help you get an idea of how things work to build your own adventures later on.
Yep.
Do we have a clever name for the game master in this system at all?
It's called the Story Guide.
Story Guide.
Yep.
See, I like it. I like all the different little acronyms and names we found for these over the time, so I had to ask. All right, so yeah, as the Story Guide, you can come in and you can pick it up pretty easily and have something to work through. So don't let that be a deterrent for, if you really want to try this game out and you don't know how to bring it to your friends, you have a blueprint that can help you get started real quick.
Yep.
All right. Well, unless Don's got anything else, I think we are good to let you guide us into our beginning.
Yeah. I think the best way to do this is that kind of at the front of the mission, there's kind of like a short like description that I can kind of read to you guys and people who are listening as a way of like, setting the scene without, spoiling anything.
Yeah.
So basically this test play mission is called One Act Tragedy. So the once prestigious St. Genesius Theater has been given a chance for a new life. A deal went through a few months before it was scheduled to close its curtains for good, and the new owner has been investing big in renovations to bring audiences back to this historical space. However, it seems that Genesius's legacy of haunted misfortune has risen again. All work has been halted by a fiery apparition of an embergeist upon the theater's main stage. Few were surprised, though, given the tragic death of up-and-coming actress Esme Delacourt just a few weeks prior, and whispers of negligence or even sabotage are building up around the owner's rushed renovation schedule, and how much it's been clashing with the theater's current production rehearsals. The owner wants the Embergeist gone ASAP, before its fires cost him even more time and money. But must the show really go on?
Nice, I like that.
So, basically, I guess kind of our opening scene is going to be probably you two on the way to the theater. So basically, usually a Burnaway brigade has a headquarters, and because of the mercenary nature of Burnaway brigades, it's usually like a rented office space in kind of a crappy part of town to keep costs low, really.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, free coffee is not always a guarantee. And usually the vehicle that you are brought to these crises in is like anything from like a refurbished van to like maybe something a little bit more high tech for those brigades that actually have a little bit of money or something like that. But I'm going to say that you guys are unfortunately on the lower end of the spectrum, so lots of wonderful, uncomfortable noises coming from different parts of the vehicle as you ride down some pothole strewn roads and like shocks that definitely need repairing.
We're on the Jersey side.
Yeah.
It's a pickup truck with a bunch of just like random gears thrown into the back.
Yeah.
Underneath like one of those tarps.
But a totally refurbished ice cream truck or something.
I mean, maybe you have some flame decals. Maybe that's your branding. So basically, you are more or less briefed on what is going on en route to this happening. So the person who has actually contacted your brigade and basically set up the client relationship is the current owner of this theater named Bradley White. And he's basically the one who bought the theater and has been trying to push through all these renovations so they can actually like open it again, because otherwise this historic theater is just totally falling apart. But of course, there are currently shows that are trying to be put on as productions while these renovations are going on, and it's this ongoing struggle, and it's kind of dangerous because obviously there's people there where there's construction. So it's just not been a good scene from what you've heard. But basically, your job is what you're getting paid for. I mean, you're getting paid a portion of this. Is basically your job is to get into the theater, find the Embergeist, get rid of it. So as you heard that the Embergeist has been spotted as a fiery apparition on the theater's main stage. So probably a good place to start. And based on the dossier of information you've been given, there was a tragic death of this young actress, Esme Delacourt. And, usually the Embergeists are kind of the residual emotional conflagrations of people who are deceased and have some very strong lingering emotions. So whether you would like to attempt to figure out who this Embergeist is and try and get it to pass on peacefully, or whether you're going to go the more direct route, that's totally up to you. So do you two want to like give a quick description of your characters or anything else like that?
Yeah.
Go for it, Jeff.
So my character goes just by a single name for this Mercury, for reasons that may or may not be obvious if you're heard that term. They, as I stated before, I went the speaker role because their mission is to try and they've seen a few of these before and they've seen the havoc that they can cause. So Mercury has like a few burn scars that won't ever heal on their arms and on their legs, but the leg ones you probably don't see because they're prepared for fire, so they're mostly covered here, but you can still see on the hands and maybe a little bit like on the side of the face here too. And so their hope is to find these and learning about being almost a medium type person to communicate with these spirits and hope to help them pass on. So they're not like physically imposing. They're in decent enough shape to get around, and they have a little bit of endurance, but they're nothing special in those regards. They're just good at finding details and speaking and talking to things and people.
Great.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yes.
All right. So this character is Stanley Slim Baker. He's Mercury's probably high school buddy who got roped into this. Slim has always been one of those people who wants to be the hero but has never really had the mettle to stick it out. So they come into this immediately feeling like they're in over their head, but they're still trying to prove themselves. And their primary goal is to do what they can to keep everything flowing, and that's kind of why they moved into the runner position, because they know that they can't hold everything on their own. They just don't have it in them. But if they can keep everybody in check at all times, there's a chance. So they have a very strong, like, as far as the flame is, the sense of like teamwork and community is at the core of them because they feel they have no other choice.
All right. Excellent. So, I guess we were talking about the vehicle being essentially a pickup truck, which I kind of like the idea of. So maybe you two are kind of like huddled in the back, trying to just hold on with all your gear rattling around, and you kind of come to a bit too much of an abrupt stop, and kind of like you can kind of see down the street, like the fire trucks and the police cars and all the other stuff. But you're kind of like stopped, like a good block away from what's going on.
Yeah, just kind of take a peek out, look around. Like, are we being stopped from getting any closer by the emergency personnel, or?
So the driver's window rolls down, and your regular driver, who is kind of hired by the brigade to bring you where you need to be, pops out. She's a middle-aged woman named Bonnie. She's kind of no nonsense kind of person, very much like just like whatever the antithesis of live laugh love is. Bonnie is it. And she kind of looks over at you and is like, "You got to get out. I just got another call on my Uber route, so I got to go pick that up." Bonnie's got her fingers in a lot of pies. She's a busy gal.
Living that gig life.
Yep, total side hustle.
All right, so grab the gear real quick and hop out of the back of the truck. Make sure obviously the med kit and I think it was a heat blanket. Where did it say? heat shield blanket, yeah, med kit, and then the symbol I think is just kind of a ghost, like a necklace around that they wear in preparation for going into this.
Hmm.
Radio. I will grab my tools and try to keep my hands from shaking and be like, all right, so
It's gonna be all right. We're just gonna go in and deal about this calmly. We just need to figure out if the spirit is actually the actress or if it's something else here. So a little bit of like recon, trying to figure out. Keep your eyes open if you see anything weird, because there was the words about whether this was negligence or just an accident or what. And so if you can see or notice anything that points fingers either direction, if it's negligence, obviously don't say anything to anyone but me. But
All right. So as you approach the kind of the crowd outside the door, like you can definitely smell the fire. You can't, like it's not like the facade is currently ablaze or anything like that, but you definitely smell the kind of the acrid smell in the air, and just like everything just feels hot.
yeah.
And if you kind of look up, it's I would say early evening right now. And I would say there's like a little bit of light left in the sky, so you can definitely tell that like there's definitely a good amount of smoke coming out from somewhere kind of near the back of the building. But you're on a narrow street, and the buildings are all very close set together, so it's not easy to access the sides of the back of the building right now.
Okay. Is there anybody currently exiting the building?
You do not see anyone in the entranceway right now. Kind of, there's like a ring around the entrance of like a couple fire trucks. There's police cars. There's an ambulance. And then kind of the line of rubberneckers. So
As is tradition.
Yep.
Yep. You are like are either of you like paying special attention to any particular area of this scene? Like, are you looking for anything? Are you?
Yeah, I'm
Where's
just
your
looking to
focus at?
see if I was looking out front. The goal for Mercury right now is to look to see if there's anybody in the process or currently exiting the building and see kind of what their demeanor is. Are they fleeing? Are they trying to slink away? Are they trying to, get rid of something, or somebody staggering
Fair.
out because maybe they're injured. So looking for just any people or things exiting the building from any windows, doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Slim?
Slim's probably casing the junk mostly to try to make sure that they can locate all of the main exits that would be the fastest egress and entrance.
Okay.
Mostly to move equipment or to get people out if possible. Like he knows his strengths, so he's trying his best to try to really focus in on what the best paths are going to be as far as logistics, I guess would be the best word.
Yeah, so looking near the entrance, the only people who are kind of near the entrance right now are a couple, some of the firefighters that are here, but they don't seem to be intent on actually going inside. They kind of are like at the entrance, peering intently into whatever is beyond the entrance.
Gotcha.
They're just kind of like hanging out at the threshold right now. As for other means of egress or ingress, there's kind of like in a historical quarter of the city, so like the houses are pretty tight together. There's like a narrow alleyway between these two, between either side, and that's like not great for a building that's on fire.
Nope.
Honestly.
Yep.
It's quite likely that there would be another entrance like around, if you like ran around the block and like went around that side. But that might take time. It might be much more on fire over there. You're just not sure.
Fair.
Yeah, not seeing anything that really kind of grabs my interest, Mercury's interest right away, and kind of takes a look over at Slim and goes, "Okay, looks like the best thing to do is just kind of go in the front door for now."
Yeah. It doesn't look like we have much in the way of backup, so let's do this.
There's plenty of
All
backup
right.
out here. We got people that can attend to the injured and help maybe keep part of the fire at least under control, as long as we can keep the spirit from. I forget the term. What's the term for the spirits when they kind of explode in here?
Hypercombustion.
Hypercombust. Okay.
Yeah. So as you approach, kind of like you're trying to like basically get to the entrance, and like a policeman takes notice of you, and it's like kind of like does this whole like, oh, you gotta stay back, can't go anywhere near the fire, blah blah blah. But then you see a man who is sort of like put himself very central to like everything, wearing very like expensive flashy suit. He's talking in a phone while having another phone in his hand,
I
and
hate
just
him
sort of
already.
like looking just like really annoyed at everything, and happens to look over at you and like walks over while still talking in the phone and says, let him through, come on, these are the Burnaways, right? You're the Burnaways, right?
Yeah, that's us. We
Yeah, come on, get
associated.
in there. No, not you. Kind of like, kind of like moves his phone away from his face. All right, listen, you got to get in there. I need to make sure that everything that I paid for is in there and not getting burned up. I don't care what you have to do. Just make sure the stuff in the entrance hall, make sure the stuff next to the stage, the fire doesn't touch it. All right. I told them, I told your headquarters that if you make sure that the renovations are protected, that I'll give you an extra 10,000. All right.
Is there a stage manager or a house manager somewhere around that might have some information about, um, just some background information, so we can maybe figure out what's going on with the spirit? Because if we can keep it from hypercombusting, then that's going to save a lot of stuff. But we need a little more information to maybe keep that from happening.
You're asking this to the guy.
Yeah, because I doubt he's going to say anything. So that's why I'm immediately looking for someone else.
Yeah. He clearly stops caring about what you're saying after like the third word, and he kind of points when you say stage manager. He points across the way, and there's like kind of where the onlookers are cordoned off. You see a group of people that seem to be a little bit more organized than just like random passersby, and a few of them have like signs and stuff like that. They look almost like a small protest of sorts. So he kind of just like points that way very irritably when you say stage manager, and like holds up his other phone and just turns around and just walks away from you guys.
I hate him already. Mercury's reserving judgment, but personally, all right. So I'm just gonna look at Slim and kind of nod and head over towards the group with the signs.
All right. So this group of people, like there doesn't seem to be like a particular like leader. You can probably just like make conversation with just the nearest person you find who's willing to like chat or something like that. Are you attempting to like converse with them? Or are you trying to do anything else?
No, just gonna kind of converse, but I'm not like hiding my intent or what I'm doing. I'm just gonna kind of go up and be like, "Hey, I'm with the team of Burnaways here to try and control this, but there's more to this story, and so I need anyone who's got information about what happened to give that to me, and try and keep speculation out of it. Like, give me facts, that way I know where to look to keep this from getting worse."
Most people who are willing to like talk to you are kind of like just they seem rather upset. They all appear to be members of the theater community, and they are all very upset, specifically at the man with the two phones, who is in fact your employer, Bradley White, who is just sort of like actively ignoring these people. But the signage that they have is basically protesting various renovations that he's doing to the building. And most people are pretty emotional right now. So, there's some people being like, oh, he probably started the fire on purpose. He's probably just trying to collect the insurance money, kind of stuff like that.
So that's a good point too. I'm trying to look for someone that seems a little more calm's not exactly the right word, but someone that's like
Collected.
a little bit more collected, not super emotional,
Together.
not
Yeah.
not appearing angry.
No,
but
just
someone
together.
who- yeah,
Just together, yeah. This kind of this younger person, probably like college student, they kind of have like been pushing their way to like kind of the front of the crowd, and kind of leans over to you and is like, are you gonna go in there?
yeah. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna try and solve this without damage to this historical theater or anything. But I need any kind of information about the incident so I can identify if the spirit involved is like what their story is.
I'm really sorry. I don't know anything about this, but I'm really worried because there's this girl named Lyra, and she's part of our community. She's part of our theater community, and I've been trying to call her because I'm worried, and I think I'm really worried that maybe she's in there. I don't know why she would be in there, but like I don't know where else she would have gone. So can you please just like keep an eye out while you're in there? Try to make sure if she's in there, she's like gets out.
Yeah, Lyra, you said?
Yeah, Lyra.
Lyra. Oh, I just said it how I wrote it down.
In the meantime, you're interrupted by Bradley yelling over you, being like, "Hey, what am I paying you for? You're not interviewing people. Get in there!"
I kind of take a glance over at Slim to see what Slim's reaction and what Slim's doing when that happens.
I just kind of look at him and I'm like, I could bring you some marshmallows.
And he probably doesn't even hear it.
Nope.
Yeah, no,
he's not talking to us.
Yeah, he's already got his back to us. I'm like,
it's like, all right, well,
I tried to
keep
be
an eye
brave,
out.
my dude. I tried to be brave.
Yeah, it's like, is there? Yeah, so I will tell that to him, and if everybody else just like seems like they're not going to be of any quick help,
Yeah.
or any help in general because they're too emotional, I'm just going to kind of shrug, take another quick glance around. Is there anybody that's receiving medical attention in sight right now?
Not that you can see. It seems that like I mean, like the fire broke out like kind of after like normal production and rehearsal stuff happened. So you have a feeling that not many people were in the building at the time.
Okay. Yeah, then seeing that, I'll just kind of nod at Slim, I guess. Well, we got to go in and do some information gathering. Just
Well, we do what we got to do.
Okay.
All right.
Hope.
I feel like Mercury has already started walking in, so that I hope is kind of Slim to himself.
Yep, exactly. As he walks by and he's like,
so are you just heading in?
Yeah, just
all right, as well at this point.
Great. So, kind of once you enter the location, this is kind of where a couple extra mechanics kick in. So, this is unfortunately I was thinking like, oh, it would actually be kind of useful to be able to share the combustion table, but that's fine. So basically, when you're playing, the players will have basically access to this thing called combustion table, which includes sort of a map of where you are, and you can see how all of the different areas you are in connect.
That's awesome.
And also three kind of essential values one is called a blaze level, which is basically represents how intense the fire is right now. The combustion trigger, which is basically a value that determines how many rounds go by before we check to see what the fire destroys, and also the number of douse counters. So during like one of the actions you can take during the mission is you can basically fight the fire. And if you are successful at fighting the fire, then you can basically accumulate douse counters, and that will suppress the fire from getting bigger. Because if the fire keeps growing and growing and gets out of hand, there's a chance that just you won't be able to do anything, and you're going to have to like get the hell out before you actually perish in the fire yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little bit tricky right now because like I mean I have like I know the layout and sort of have a map with me. I wish I had something a little bit more interesting to show, but I mean, we'll just roll with it. So basically, from now on, we are essentially in rounds. So basically, when I ask you what you're doing, you kind of, will describe something to me, and then once you're both completed your action, that will be a round. And then right now, the combustion trigger is 4, which means at the end of 4 rounds, we're going to console the combustion table, and we're going to find out what happens.
Okay.
All
right. So you two are entering into the lobby. So the lobby is how you would imagine kind of like a historical theater. It's like, it's got some pretty nice architecture. It's got like, these kind of 2 parallel like staircases, carpeted staircases that lead up to probably the house seats up above in the theater. There's like, like big gaudy chandeliers hanging down, a lot of just like kind of like old wooden furniture and features like that. There's like a ticketing stand kind of like a little further in where you would you're not sure if they do like paper tickets now, probably not, but it's clearly like a relic from the theater's earlier days. It's a pretty prominent thing right there.
Nice.
And I could both of you quickly engage in a locate challenge. So basically, as soon as you come in, there might be some things that you notice.
Okay.
So would gathering intel as a specialty help with this?
Not in this case, because that's a little bit more like focused and lengthy.
Okay.
What about identifying danger spots?
Absolutely. That would work. So you would add an extra die to your pool for that.
Okay.
So locate check for me is 3 dice then, and that is 2 even numbers.
Excellent. So that's 2 hits.
Did you roll all odds, Don?
I got a 3, and a 3, and a 3, and a 5.
Amazing. That helps absolutely none.
We took away the fact that you could roll a 1 and critically fail, and you still are finding a way.
I roll really well when I'm GMing, like horrifyingly well.
The player killer, yeah.
I actually, there have been cases where I'm like, I'm just going to re-roll this, because if I don't, we're all going to have a bad night.
Yeah. So I think Slim, maybe Slim's nerves are getting to them right now. However, Mercury, your attention is quickly drawn to movement on sort of like the far side of the ticketing booth. Mm-hmm. You see something that appears to be like on fire or made of flame, some sort of like humanoidish figure that was like peeking out at you, and then quickly like sort of like slips back behind the ticketing booth.
I'm going to kind of like reach out and kind of tell Slim's like, okay, careful, hold on. I saw something. Just be chill. And just kind of slowly kind of walk around that way, and in like a low, slow, like soothing voice, try and speak out to them.
3, get her! Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Just be like, hey, I see you. I know you saw me. I'm here to help. Who are you? Just like slow, measured movements. Nothing sudden. Nothing aggressive.
So that'll be your action for this round. Okay. And Slim, what do you want to be doing while Mercury is doing this?
Okay. Let's see. What would be a good thing to do? Is there any real is the blaze pretty prominent in this area, or is it still pretty mellow?
Yeah, not in this area right now. You don't. I mean, obviously it's smoky, but you don't see any active flames going anywhere.
Well, since I'm a little lighter loaded and a bit quicker, I think what I would do is I would probably try to get closer to any of the other adjoining rooms and basically just dart around and try to get a better scout of what's going on outside the room itself.
Yeah. So mechanically
think-
speaking, if you would like to, you can take your action to move to an adjacent area.
Sure.
So basically, from here, you can either go into the house proper, or you can basically go up the stairwell and get to the tech booth.
I think I would check the tech booth first.
Okay.
And make sure I clear that before moving to a larger area.
And as I see Slim kind of take off too, I'll be like, be on the lookout for young woman Lyra.
Will do. I hope.
All right. So as Mercury kind of like approaches this this fiery thing, you kind of like make your way slowly around the ticket booth, and you spot this what again like appears to be humanoid, but now that you have a better look at it, it is definitely a humanoid, but it appears to be like something that is wearing like sort of an antique dress, like a long lacy flowy thing, and it's all just like it has like shapes that appear to be arms and a shape that appears to be a head, but it's all it's not a person, it's just a form.
Okay.
But it sort of reacts to you in a very exaggerated manner. Like when you come around, it goes, and kind of like leaps backwards, and then sort of like acts kind of like demure, and then sort of tries to move around you towards the house. And as this is happening, out of the corner of your eye, you notice like a couple more of them looking down at you from the upper kind of like banisters.
Oh.
And they're also very similarly dressed in this kind of like old timey, like kind of like turn of the century clothing.
Oh.
You might even like think of them as like costumes of some sort.
Gotcha.
Is this like, are they costumes or are they old time? So I've got 3 total that I see right now. The one in front of yours. Does the one in front of me, does it look like it's trying to like get by me to run away?
Yes, it definitely seems to be trying to head towards the house.
Okay. I will not block their path. I'll actually kind of purposely open myself up to like give them kind of a path to go, attempting to kind of assuage them, calm them down, maybe gain some trust. Do I have any familiarity with these spirits being able to speak, or is that something that's not?
It's you know in general that Embergeists, they might speak, however they do not have a conscience. They are not ghosts per se. They are basically a creature that is created by the emotions of someone who has passed on, right?
Okay.
So it is acting sort of on its own volition, based on sort of like an echo of someone's intentions.
Gotcha.
It's like a bad game of spiritual telephone in some ways.
Mm-hmm. I see what you mean. Almost like the traditional wraith in a way.
Yeah. You could interact with them in ways that will, perhaps make them more calm or like encourage them to do something, but you can't speak to them like you would a person.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the goal, is to kind of interact with them. So, like, I'm here to help. So kind of like open myself up calmly to give them room to go by and see like, is there something you want to show me? I want to make it so they feel like they can go by and I'm not,
okay,
saying, trying to like maybe, I don't know if the specialties are kind of more about long term, but one of the specialties is gaining trust.
Yeah. I think this would definitely be a good challenge for like persuade and gaining trust, to kind of like encourage it to see you as someone who it's willing to like interact with rather than just run away from.
And one of the merits is Ghost Whisperer.
Yes.
The merit, I chose to give it either or, and I put Ghost Whisperer.
There, girl. There. Sorry, couldn't help it.
So the Ghost Whisperer and the Gaining Trust can add dice to this roll?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be 6 dice then, total for this one. 1, 2, 3, that's 4 even numbers. Ooh.
Nice.
2
Wow.
6s, an 8, and a 2.
Nice. All right, yeah, it kind of it's originally it was intended to kind of just like flee away from you, but as you open yourself up and you kind of run through your natural routine of trying to just kind of show that you're not a threat, show that you're interested in just peacefully interacting with it. It kind of stops and slows down, and then seems more curious about you, and then then does this thing that kind of like sort of gesture you forward. It seems to want to show you something.
Okay. I will follow, but I'm going to also like take a glance up at the other two and see what they're doing after all this as well.
Yeah, after that, they seem to be kind of following along with you in parallel, where like you assume that there is an entrance to the house up there as well to get to the box seats, so they might be kind of following you that way. But
Gotcha.
we're gonna say that was your second action, and we'll jump over to Slim for what they find in the tech booth.
All right.
Let's see, tech booth. So, you make your way quickly along the hallways. I don't know if Slim is familiar with the layouts of many theaters.
Probably not really, but has a vague understanding.
Yeah, so it's just like tech booth is probably going to be where they have the most connection to the lights and all that stuff. So you probably have a few good guesses. So the up on this level, you definitely like the fire is more noticeable. Obviously, smoke rises, and you're starting to kind of see flames like further on down the hallways. And you reach the heavy door of the tech booth.
Okay.
How are you approaching this?
Well, I think that I would. First thing I'd do is make sure that the tech booth door isn't blazing hot like a furnace. Be like, okay, touch my elbow to the handle because probably have gloves on at this point because I don't want to melt my hands. But just try to carefully open it up and look through and see what I can see.
Yeah, the door is definitely warm, and like the handle being metal is like you don't want to be touching this with your bare hands. So once you carefully open it up, there's definitely some fire damage going on in this area. You see, the usual like control boards for the lights and the sound and stuff like that. It's pretty cluttered space. Like this is a pretty old theater, and you're guessing that whoever is in charge of like this particular tech booth maybe has just like been here for a while and is like, oh, I know where everything is. You don't need to know. I can just go and pick it out wherever.
It's got like colored pieces of tape on switches.
Yeah.
That is the most realistic old house theater description I can think of for somebody like that. Like that takes me back, honestly.
Something about the Civic Theater.
Yeah. So they've got like a bunch of shelves kind of along the back for storage, and they're all just kind of like cluttered with all this like these manuals and these coils of wire that are sort of not as coiled as they should be. A bunch of kind of like camera equipment, tripods, all kind of like cluttered in various areas. So it's just like it's not a good place to be moving around in, especially in an emergency like this. You definitely notice that like the acrid smell has like doubled, and it's just like you get the feeling that like some electronics are starting to like smolder or potentially catch fire.
Well, that's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, definitely not a great scene. So basically the main thing that catches your eye is kind of like just like the shelves near the back of the room of just like, all of these like probably tech manuals and like ledgers and records of stuff like that, probably kept by, the generations of people who've been working here. You do not see, you don't see immediately, you don't see any like people or any like creatures in this space right now.
Okay. What should I do then? Is it pretty like is the fire pretty prevalent at this point, like in here?
If so, basically, if you are going to be spending time in here, you're going to basically be dealing with a defense challenge because of just like the thick kind of like electronics fire. Not good to breathe in at all.
Yeah.
If you have like a respirator or something like that, that'll definitely help a lot.
Yeah, I do,
but yeah,
I got the respirator helmet.
Do it. Let's showcase a defense challenge.
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Is there anything you're trying to like accomplish in this room? Maybe you're like looking around for something or something like that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I can clear the room of any additional occupants and try to maybe limit the amount of combustibles that could potentially cause a chain reaction.
Yeah. Sounds good. I'm going to say then in that case, that would be an endeavor challenge. And do you have the specialty, I believe, like clearing debris?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect.
All right. So, is this just a standard challenge then?
Yep.
Okay. Ha.
Oh no.
So, I don't know if you can see this. This is a 3.
That's a 3. That's a 3. Oh
Okay,
my god.
Different dice.
Yeah, you might have some.
They were
dice
different.
there.
Like I'm using the poly heat the 7 set with different ones. Use a bunch of different sizes.
Okay.
Give
So that was
yourself
a
more
3,
options.
a 3,
Yep.
and a 5.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. You unfortunately just end up sort of like trying to pick up and touch all the wrong things. It's just like, oh, that's hot. Oh, fuck, that's hot. Oh, that's kind of melted. Oh no. Oh no.
My dude's gonna walk out of that room looking like he was tarred and feathered with manuals and molten
basically.
plastic.
So you are, you do not succeed at clearing the room at all, and so now you're also going to be engaging in a defense challenge to make sure you're also not like getting smothered by the smoke.
All right.
So in this case, this is a particle defense challenge. So if you have, protection, that will help you deal with particle damage.
Which is the one for the respirator helmet.
Yep. Yeah.
So do I just roll that?
Yeah, you're gonna add that as a die to your pool.
Okay. So, and protection starts at 0, correct?
Yes.
So it would just be the 1.
Yep. Oh, sorry. You add your resolve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So your resolve is going to start at 3. So that's
Yeah.
you add your resolve plus your relevant protection score, which is from the
Okay.
respirator.
There we go. All right. I got a 12, a 6, a 4, and a 3.
There you go. You were
So that's 3 successes, right? 3 hits.
Yep.
All right. Good. Yeah. You keep your mask firmly on your face and quickly move away from the most noxious areas. So you're all right for now.
This tastes like burning.
All right, so that's the end of the second round. We're gonna jump back down to Mercury. So Mercury, are you following this fire spirit into the house?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Where is the description of the house?
So there's common actions and side actions. So the common action here would be changing rooms.
Yep.
And like a side action be kind of, keeping an eye out. Like I'm not just focusing on this. I'm following, kind of scanning the area. Does that count as side action or?
So basically side actions are just things you can do that don't really require a challenge. So like, if you want to like, get an easy reach piece of gear, or if, you want to like, grab something or drop something. That's kind of like it
Okay.
just covers like all the little things you can do that don't require like a full focused action to do.
Cool. I like that. Don't have to roll for
Yeah.
every little thing. You just have a little bit of extra there. Okay.
Yeah, and as you notice, like an action essentially covers a fair amount of doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the oops, that's not the right one. Where is it? The house. So the house is kind of like a relatively, not necessarily fully cramped, but like it's not, it's not as spacious as you would expect for like a theater. All of the chairs are pretty close together. The theater is kind of taller than it is wide. So like, the stage has some really amazing like curtains and stuff like that. And you definitely notice you notice to the sides of the other stage are like these piles of like boxes and like those kind of like large heavy steel cases that are kind of just like piled up against the wall, and they definitely look like kind of like expensive like sound equipment perhaps. But definitely the thing that draws your attention most of all is the stage itself, because the stage is not empty. In fact, the stage is filled with about a dozen more of these fire spirits. All kind of their main bodies are just these elaborate costumes from, in fact, many different eras. You can see like maybe maybe like something from again turn of the century. Maybe you can see something from like the 60s, or you can see something from the like like the greaser era or something like that. All just wreathed in flames, these flame bodies, and they're all seem to be occupied with some sort of activity, some sort of play that they're doing on the stage. They're jumping around, they're interacting with each other, they're being very dramatic. One of them like mimes stabbing the other, and they fall very intensely, but then they immediately get up and then start dancing with somebody else. And yeah, so they're all just kind of like moving around and kind of in their own world, as it were. And the one that you were following turns around to you and mimes quiet, and kind of tries to bring you around kind of the outside.
Okay, I will.
Cannibal killer Shia LaBeouf.
He's coming.
I will, definitely stay quiet. Try and follow around. Think to myself as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, I need to be quiet, but I didn't tell Slim what was going on either. It's okay, Slim's fine.
Come out covered in cables and all this stuff up to me. You would not believe what I've seen.
Keep glancing, like following, but glancing to the stage to make sure none of those other spirits like become aggressive or anything, and then also just kind of keeping an eye out, because like I've heard about an accident, but I don't know any of any of the details really, and so just kind of keeping an eye out for anything that might stand out, as in like this was damaged, so maybe this was part of the accident or something.
Could be.
Yeah. Are you kind of like the spirit is being very clear that it wants you to like be quiet? Are you trying to like move quietly, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I will try and move quietly, because I'm guessing that
All right.
This is also a lot of the most spirits Mercury's ever seen in one place. So it's like I don't want to startle them or bring them down on me. So
yeah.
Are you sure?
So in this case, it would be a maneuver challenge. Do you have any specialties?
I don't think any of that's gonna work. Gaining trust, gathering intel, none of those are gonna really help me. Ooh, which two dice are most likely to give me even numbers? Neither of those two.
Welcome to the club.
7 and a 5. Those are both odd numbers.
So you're like, oh, okay, yeah. They're trying to get me to be quiet. I can totally do quiet, and like
Trip over something.
yeah, basically you start moving, and then you sort of like your foot gets caught on this like metal thing that's just like lying more or less in the middle of the walkway, and in order to quickly free your foot you kind of move it, and then all of a sudden you just clatter, and it's kind of like causes this chain reaction, and all of the creatures, or all of the spirits on the stage just stop in unison, and just their blank faces turn directly in your direction. In that kind of like that beat, that just like that beat of silence, you're just like looking at each other, and then they all just dive off the stage and rush through the rows towards you.
Ooh, what is the one I was following doing in this instant? Is like just a quick glance.
It is
over
just fleeing away from you.
I'm in danger.
Yeah,
So that was our third action down here. Let's go back up to the tech booth.
Yep, I'm getting out of there. Just saying.
Yep. So you're gonna be moving out to the house.
Yep. It's just like Kool-Aid Man through the doors, covered in cables, with some manuals kind of glued to me from molten plastic. Oh no.
Yeah, you have a very good like view of all this stuff happening from up on the second floor. You just like see these dozen fire spirits leap down from the stage and make their way through the rows of seats. I'm not sure. Well, I guess you're probably looking down and see Mercury down there as they're all rushing towards them.
Yep. Be like, hey, you might be in danger, bud.
Yeah, not good.
So I think that's moving from place is the action, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So when you call out down there, some of them look up to you and then sort of break off and start heading towards the staircase to get to the second floor.
Oh man.
So Mercury, they very quickly sort of like flank you and are now going to attempt to try and grab you. What's your kind of response as they're closing in?
Okay, I was going to try and take off after the other spirit again. Was going to be the
you could try to do that. You could try and just like slip past the ones that are trying to encircle you.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and be like, like put the hands up in a non-threatening gesture, just be like, hey, it's cool, and just like, but still not moving slowly this time because that's not going to benefit me, but just like hands up and trying to move past.
This looks like a job for somebody else.
So is your approach to try and convince the things that are coming at you to chill out, or you're just going to try and like get past them as quickly as possible?
We're gonna go with the chill out first, so hopefully just to get them to be like, hey,
all right,
it's cool. I'm not here to. Yeah.
Let's go with a persuade, gaining trust.
All right. You rolled an odd number last time, so let's.
Good luck.
Okay, that's 3 even numbers and 2 odds.
Nice, 3 even numbers. That's pretty good. However, not quite good enough to fully stop the enraged fire spirits from attempting to remove you from the premises.
Ooh.
So, you kind of like you do your best to, be like, I'm not a threat, don't chill out. And, a few of them do kind of like look a little bit unsure, but they're then egged on by, the other ones are just like, come on, kind of like noiseless, acting. So they're going to attempt to basically grab you and forcefully drag you out of the theater.
Okay.
I feel like the part in Fantasia with the animated objects is kind of playing in my head right now.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, let's see. Where is the all right, so this is going to be a defense challenge. Do you have
Yeah.
any heat protection?
I have a heat shield blanket.
Are you currently swaddled in it right now?
No, he wouldn't be
No.
swaddled right now. It would be like some way to easy access it to like quickly like either cover myself or cover a fire, but not shrouded.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fortunately, this is going to be a little bit easier since they have split their forces to go deal with Slim. So you're just going to roll your resolve right now.
Ooh, okay,
You can do it.
What is the resolve level?
It should be 3.
Yeah.
3, okay, because I
Yeah,
don't see.
It starts at 3.
Yeah, and if you start failing these checks, you'll start taking injuries, which is going to reduce your resolve as well.
Fair.
That is 2 5s and a 6, so
Nailed it.
All right. So you kind of like you're like, oh, maybe we can go over here, maybe we can go over here, but they just kind of swarm you and grab you, and it is, in fact, shockingly, they're quite hot for these creatures made of flame. So they kind of like pile on you and pull you forcefully, and they just basically just throw you out of the house essentially. So you are now back in the lobby, but they don't like that's where they basically stop. Once you are outside the house, they kind of throw you on they dust their hands off and then they head back to the stage. However, you were unfortunately somewhat burned in the process. Okay. So this is where we get to look at the injury rules.
Ooh, yes.
Heck yeah.
So because you have failed a defense challenge, you're going to gain an injury. And if at any point the number of injuries you have is greater than your resolve, you're going to become overwhelmed and gain some grief. But for right now, you're all right.
So I have the resolve stays at 3, but I also have 1 injury now. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Good luck, Slim.
Oh boy. So I just watch Mercury get swarmed and shoved out the
sorry, I didn't forgot to mention this part. So do you currently have tools in your ready slots?
We have 3 ready slots, right?
Yep.
That might have been
basically those ready slots are just for tools that you have that are most accessible to you right now that you're using a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, one tool in those ready slots suffers a damage because it's most accessible in your person. That's most susceptible to damage, right?
Yep.
And damage just basically is if each tool has a bulk, so it's like bulk 1, bulk 2, bulk 3, just to show how heavy and how kind of its mass. Basically, when a tool suffers damage, the bulk kind of acts as its hit points. So if a bulk 1 tool suffers 1 point of damage, it's just broken until you can either fix it or get a new one. If a bulk 2 tool suffers a damage, you can still use it, but it's kind of like, it's going to be needs of repairs. So which out of the, basically you can kind of choose which tools you have right now, and you think which one of these tools will be suffering a point of damage right now.
Probably either be the blanket or the medical kit, because both those would be easy access and ready. So, I mean, maybe the blanket, because
maybe you're like trying to get it out to like cover yourself and
that's what I was thinking. So it is toast thing. So it only has a bulk of 1.
They grabbed it on the non-heat reflecting side.
Yeah.
Okay, So under the heat shield blanket, it says bulk 1, but in the description it says wearing blanket plus 3 bulk.
Yeah. So basically, if when it's like sort of like wrapped up in its little case, it's like bulk 1, because bulk is not just like it's not just weight; it's more like how unwieldy something is to like carry or have lug around. So if it's fully unwrapped and you're like wearing it, it's
Mhm.
you know it's hard to do other things when when you have
Okay.
that. So
That makes sense.
in that case, I will say that like the container or like the casing that it came in is like destroyed. So you now have this heat shield blanket that's like still usable, but you have to be dragging it around because you just don't have the case for it anymore.
It's his
Yep.
security blanket.
Yeah.
My middle name is Linus.
Yep. Mercury Linus.
Good grief.
Oh, that works on several levels.
So also one of the other automatic consequences of taking an injury is that your resolve is reduced by 1.
Okay.
However, that's you can one of the things you can do during your action is you can recover, which basically means you can like take a moment to breathe and center yourself, and you will regain 1 resolve.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's probably going to be Mercury's next action anyway, is just to be like, okay, take a breath, figure out how to, go about this now. So,
Yep. So, Slim, up on the second floor, you have your own issues as you see these things marching up the steps to deal with you.
Yeah, I'm by myself. I'm gonna run.
Okay. So, from here, you can. Let's see. So obviously you can jump back into the tech booth if you really want to. You can try and make a dash for the lobby.
Yeah.
You can also try and sort of like do some evasive maneuvers and kind of get yourself back into the crossover area, which is kind of the space behind the stage proper.
Yeah, I might dodge back that way and kind of like try to wrap around so I can clear the,
Mhm.
That sounds like a good call or a
Yeah.
good try.
So you have maneuver.
Try. Yeah.
Do you have any specialties that you think would help?
I have traverse gaps, but that doesn't really make sense for this.
Yeah.
So I think it'd just be maneuver, huh?
All right.
All right. Let's try these dice.
Which merit did you choose, Don?
Swift extraction. Oh.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think that's more for people.
I
could be wrong. Yeah. Oh. I'm new to this. Come on, brain.
Oh yeah, so swift extraction is used to like move very quickly between multiple areas because usually it just takes an action to move between one adjacent one. But with swift extraction, you can literally like try and like just basically parkour your way through multiple areas.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna try to wrap around first. It seems like a smarter move at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, dice. You're not all D6s this time, so. So that's a 4,
mm-hmm.
a 4, a 4, and a 10.
All
right. Nice.
What's with the same number a lot, Don? You're doing that tonight.
I know, right? See?
We like to stick together.
My D4 is a 4. Yeah.
So yeah,
D6.
Yeah. After seeing the unfortunate consequences of seeing what happens when you get surrounded and grabbed, you definitely know what that happened to you. So
nope.
How do you like? You can kind of explain your like moment of cool for how Slim dodges past these things.
It's just kind of like going between the rows and zigzagging, and the moment they get kind of choke pointed up, he goes backwards and then hops down like 3 rows. So they're constantly trying to like guess which way he's moving through the rows, and just kind of gets him held up until he gets over to the crossover, and then is darting over to the far end and getting ready to try to make a break for the lobby.
Nice. So yeah, you'll be entering. So are you going to be entering the crossover proper?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the end of the 4th round. And that means that we get to check our combustion table.
Explosions.
Yeah. Are both of you able to like at least look at the combustion table from the documents that I sent?
I think so.
Which one is it? Is it just in the basic rules?
Yeah, or it's a separate file called blank combustion table V3.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, if we're kind of like playing in person, or if I had
Gotcha.
been, so basically we would have the structure points is basically the total amount of structure that this whole area has. Each location has it, or each area has its own structure points that adds to the total. The blaze level is right now 2, combustion trigger is 4, and we don't have any douse counters right now. So right now we are going to randomly select one of the areas of the location. So can someone roll me a D8?
Better roll.
2.
All right. So our first structure point damage is in the house. So the house has 6 structure points, meaning because it's a pretty big area, so it takes a little bit longer to burn. However, it does have 1 critical point, which now means that we're going to roll a d6, and if you roll a 1, it's going to hit the critical point.
Oh.
Okay, it's a 4.
All right, good. So if you had hit a critical point, basically, down the second box right there. If an area has a critical point, basically you determine if it is destroyed. If so, you immediately increase the blaze level by 1 and reduce the trigger by 1. So basically, something like the fire reaches like a gas canister, or like reaches a structural integrity is compromised. So immediately the fire gets more oxygen and starts burning way faster and burns stronger. So you don't want that happening.
I'm glad I didn't roll. I probably would have.
All right, so we've got 1 structure point lost from the house. Can we get another D8?
This one's you, though, Don. I did the
Okay.
first one. This one's you.
That's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the green room also loses a structure point.
Uh-oh.
So,
I think we just lost Jeff.
Hopefully not for long.
Yep. Oh, well. So the green room lost a structure point.
Yep.
Does that one have a critical point? Oh, there's Jeff.
Yeah, not right now. So,
okay.
Right now, for every location or every area that loses a structure point, where is it? A combustion event happens, basically representing the increase of damage and emergency in that room.
Okay.
So basically, I'm gonna say for this one, we're gonna go with the raining cinders combustion event, because parts of the ceiling are starting to flake off, and just little fiery, like paint chips and wood flakes are starting to just drop down. So that basically means that the haste for all characters in this area is reduced by 1, because you're just trying to dodge these falling cinders. Haste is mostly used as kind of like a conditional initiative to basically determine what happens first if things are acting in opposition to each other.
Gotcha.
Whether it's players or events or something like that. So you will not be as quick during the time you're in this room.
Which room is that?
This is in the house.
The house, okay.
Oops, I want that to be -1 haste. And I'm going to put the... Okay. And looking at anything else, let's see. Adjust the trigger value. So, unfortunately, we do not have any douse counters right now. So there are fewer douse counters than the blaze level. So that means that the blaze level is increased by 1. The fire is starting to build right now. So the blaze level is now 3, meaning that next time we check the combustion table, we're going to roll 3 times instead of 2.
Oh boy.
However, you can add douse counters by basically fighting the fire with these combustion events and actually getting rid of them, so you can like do your jobs better. So I don't know if you have the quick play thing open at all.
Yeah.
There's under the common actions, there's a thing that says fight the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So basically using tools with a firefighting keyword in an area with an active combustion event, i.e. the house or the green room. If you succeed, then you stop the event and add 1 douse counter to the combustion table. So it's an option.
Okay.
Yep, that is definitely an option.
All right. So we're going to switch back to Mercury. Mercury, you are a little bit worse for wear, but not currently being accosted by these fire spirits. And you're back out in the lobby.
And they just turned around and kind of went back to the stage, right? They're not paying attention.
Yeah, they've returned to the stage.
Are the ones that were up above before and I was out here, are they still there? Because there was 2 that were like up above following along. And for the action is definitely going to be a recovery action. That's not necessarily the smartest thing to do right now, but that's where Mercury is going to be, because this was like, okay, they actually picked me up and threw me out. And
I see him on the screen on the stream talking.
Oh, you can't see, or you can't hear Jeff?
He might
no. Oh, can you hear him?
I can hear Jeff, but
I can't hear him.
I can hear both of you.
I don't know if you can hear me right now.
Just have him refresh Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and reload real quick. Sometimes Ninja will do that.
Okie dokie.
Yay, technology.
That would explain a number of things.
Yep.
The fact that they couldn't hear me.
Yep.
Wait for it.
I'm actually really digging this game, and it would be a really fun one to play more of.
Yeah, it makes like a lot of stuff makes a lot of sense. Like the what we just went through with the blaze level increasing, and with all of the other, and like the different combustion, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
which helps a lot too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. I can hear everybody.
Okay. Cool.
Yay!
So
that happens sometimes. We don't know why.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Mercury is going to be looking to see if those 2 that were up above are still there at a quick glance. But even though it may not be the wisest use of an action, the action is going to be spent to recover after what just happened to him. And then
you don't see the onlookers above you right now, so you have a moment's peace to kind of like gather your senses, so you can return your resolve to 3.
Okay. And try and like figure out a way to. Yeah, he'll just try to figure out what do I do with this blanket now, but nothing really comes to him, and I'll have an idea for my next action with that.
All right. Slim, so you have managed to maneuver your way past the fire spirits, and you have entered the crossover.
Yep.
Let's see, where are we here? Crossover. There we go. So it's about how you would expect like a crossover to be, although this place, similar to the green room, is just filled with too much stuff. Although, as you might expect during a production, you've got a lot of props, you got a lot of stage pieces, stuff like that. So it's definitely, like it's a tight fit. It's understandable. There's a lot of stuff back here. However, you see some stuff that like probably isn't for the production. Like there's a bunch of construction equipment, and there's like just stuff that seems to be part of the renovations of the theater, all just stored back here and just making it way more cluttered than it probably should be.
Of course.
Yeah, it's just like it's dark, it feels a bit claustrophobic. in this area. So right now, because there's just so much stuff right here, your haste is going to be reduced by 1 in this area because you're just trying to make sure you're not tripping over everything.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
before you leave this area, you're actually going to have to engage in a maneuver challenge to try and extricate yourself from, making sure you don't get yourself hurt or anything like that.
All right. Well, I guess that's what I'm going to roll for because I need to get out of here.
As you're about to turn around, you hear someone's voice call out to you.
Like, all right, who's there? Hello?
Hello? Is anyone there? Help, please, help.
Yeah, I'll give you a hand. Where are you? And just like look around and like
you follow the voice to you see a young woman crouched behind like just a few piles of this like of these renovation materials, and she seems like she was like just trying to like hide herself away, but like it's getting pretty smoky back here, and you're definitely noticing some flames happening above you. So like you get the sense she's kind of freaked out right now. She's like, can you help me get out of here? It's getting really bad back here.
Yeah, definitely. Try to get her and me out of here and closer to the lobby if I can.
All right. So from here, you can go back to the house. There's also a couple of areas that will lead you. One is lead you to the dressing room, and also another is to the green room. However, you notice that to the green room, some debris has fallen from above, and it's partially obstructed right now.
All right. Well, we'll try to make our way through the dressing room because I'm all about the speed right now.
Yep. All right. So you are going to have to make a maneuver challenge, and because you're trying to lead her, it's actually going to increase the target number by 1.
All right.
So, do you have any specialties for dealing with this?
I do have a clearing debris, and that's about it. Maybe.
Okay. Anything for maneuver?
Traversing gaps. Yeah, not really.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Something with the beam light compass, maybe?
I think it's more of just a flashlight, but.
Oh yeah, that's obscure vision. I was looking at something else.
Okay, I got a 4, a 6, an 8, and a 3.
Nice. All right. Yeah, 3 hits will do it. It's pretty tricky, but you kind of like tap into your what you do best, and are able to kind of like lead her through this just like tangled maze of just stuff. And you're going to be entering the dressing room.
Radio sounds good.
So that's in the first round, and now on the second round. What is Mercury gonna do next?
So ways out of the lobby. There's a way directly into the house.
Yeah.
And then if is there, so I know what direction that the other spirit that was wanting me to follow it went. Is there a way to go that direction from the lobby?
Yeah. So basically, you could from the lobby. There's not really a lot of access to like the back of the theater. You could just try to like book it through the house to try and like get to the back of the house before the spirits can like jump off and kick you out. You could also try to sneak around. That didn't work so well last time, but
didn't work so well last time. But I think kind of take like the heat blanket and maybe have it not exactly like a cape, but have it kind of prepared for going into the heat in case they get a hold of me again. And we're gonna try the. Actually, since they just left me at the house, I'm gonna try and book it. I'm gonna try and get to that other spot as quickly as possible because I'm thinking these ones are stuck in the house possibly.
Okay. So you just take a deep breath and just, get in there and just hope that there's no more things to trip over.
Pretty much.
All right. It
Be
sounds
very,
like
very quiet.
I'll let you decide whether you think that's more of an endeavor thing or a maneuver thing.
Doesn't really matter for me. They're both the
All
same, and I can't add anything to it. So probably more of like a little of a maneuver, trying to like find the quickest route without as many, which might involve jumping over like a steel beam or something that I tripped on last time.
All right, let's do it.
That's 2 hits, an 8 and a 2.
Nice. All right, that is what you needed. So they're quick to notice that you're back in the house, and they again jump off the stage and rush towards you, but you are like, you're just focused on your mission. You just are running through, and you successfully outstrip them. So basically this action would be from moving from the lobby of the house, and then kind of like your next action will be moving from the house to the crossover, I believe. Well, you can get to from here you can get to the green room or the crossover.
Wherever I kind of saw the other spirit heading.
Okay, that was more of the crossover
last time. Okay.
Okay, so that was your second action, and back with Slim. So you are moving with the woman into the dressing room. Once she notices where you're going, the woman's like, "Oh, do you think you could help me? Actually, this sounds kind of crazy, but the reason I'm here is that I was trying to look for something. You see, I dropped something. I lost something really, really valuable, and I was trying to find it before anything happened to it, and I think I lost in the dressing room somewhere, actually."
Oh, what is this?
It's a script book, actually. I mean it is mine, but it used to be Esme's script book because I was her understudy, and I ended up taking her place. After everything happened, and I guess I wanted to return it to her because I thought maybe if she was the spirit, maybe that's why she was angry, and maybe if I she's clearly getting more and more like upset while she's explaining
I'm like,
this.
whoa, let's just find it and get you out of here, okay?
All right.
Obviously, this wasn't working. Whatever you're trying, let's just try to get you somewhere safe once we find this.
All right.
Or we'll try.
You enter the dressing room, and unfortunately, there are more of the fire spirits in here. Pretty typical dressing room with a wide mirrors, like the bulbs all around them, to help put on makeup and whatnot. The counters are just like cluttered with wigs and makeup stuff and things like that. And you notice that like kind of off to one side of the dressing room, there's a set of like double doors open to like the prop closet, which is like where all the costumes are stored. And you kind of enter at a moment when you see like two of these fire spirits rummaging through the prop closet, and they pick out this like old dress, and they sort of like kind of start like kind of like fondling it and touching it, and as they do, it catches on fire and actually creates a new fire spirit that is kind of inhabiting this garment now.
Oh, well, that ain't good.
The dress is kind of like a like a Southern belle dress. So once it kind of gets its own legs, it kind of like gets up and does this kind of exaggerated like curtsy. Kind of it gets into character very quickly.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty great. However, Slim is freaking out a little bit. Like he's like, script book. We got to get out of here. Yeah.
The rest of them have definitely noticed you and seem intent on having you not be there.
Yep.
So you've only got a few moments to decide how you're acting right now.
Yeah. So, let's see. I guess it would be... Sorry, come to actions. Well, she isn't going to want to move without that script book. This is a tough one. Oh, I guess I'll try to search the area, because it's going to be bad.
That's fair.
I know,
This is
like,
gonna be
I need your skills and you need my skills.
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
I mean, it certainly was a choice to immediately split up.
What do we always say?
Why would that be a bad thing? It'd never be a bad thing, right?
All right, so can you give me a locate challenge?
All right.
Do you have any specialties that might help?
That's a big negative.
All right.
Aside from identifying danger spots, but I see all those in front of me right now. So,
Oh yeah, lots of danger spots.
Oh, that's a 4, a 4, and a 7.
4, a 4, and a 7. All right.
The 4s are really digging me today.
I think I just lost Jeff again. I don't know if you did as well.
Say something, Jeff.
I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear Jeff.
Okay. I'll be back in a second.
Wee!
Supposed to have
imagination.
Yeah. I really want fiber internet back.
Yeah, it's awesome. Not gonna lie.
All right.
I'm back. All right.
So you got 2 hits.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So you take the moment, you take the moment of opportunity as they're kind of like shocked that you're suddenly there, to like look around and be like, all right, where the hell is it? You just like jump in. You're like, jumping around them, kind of like trying to just move too fast for all of them to like, converge on you. And out of the corner of your eye, you spot some sort of like flat book-like thing that's kind of like been slid under a dresser in the corner. And
I'm like, I'm like, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato.
You quickly jump down for it and yank out, and it looks like a script book.
All right. Can we go?
However, yeah.
Oh.
Now the things are going to attempt to, do that anyway.
Yep.
So now you're going to be rolling a defense challenge with any sort of heat protection.
Oh, I have none of that.
We're so prepared for this.
I got a respirator helmet, but that's particulate only. So, So it's resolve.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, at least I have a 3 still, so that's something. I won't have a 3 soon, I imagine. That's a 2, 3, and a 6.
So that's a 1 success. Or a 1 hit. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, you sort of literally backed yourself into a corner.
Yep.
And they're going to grab you and drag you across the floor, and you're thinking that they're going to be ejecting you from the room, but in fact they're going to toss you in the prop closet and close the doors.
Oh, not again.
And Lyra right along with you. Yeah, unfortunately she's kind of gotten the worst of it, because she doesn't have equipment to be attacked by flaming spirits, so she's unfortunately dealing with some singe some singe patches right now. So you're going to be taking an injury, and also reducing your resolve by 1.
All right.
And also any a tool in your ready slot's gonna be damaged.
All right. Well, let's see. Well, it would make the most sense because I'd be having the respirator helmet up. So yeah, it is broken.
Oof.
Oh, we lost Jeff. Again.
Yeah. So you are now cast into the full darkness of the closed off prop closet, with kind of only your thoughts and Lyra's kind of like panting sobs as she's dealing with her burns. So that was the end of round 2. On round 3, I'm going to say that is when Mercury arrives in the in the crossover.
All right.
And looking for that fire spirit.
Yeah.
I don't have an action this round, but yeah, just looking for that fire spirit.
Yeah, so basically, the fire spirits have stopped chasing you as soon as you kind of like get past the house. They're no longer interested in you, and you're kind of looking around, and you notice maybe the same fire spirit from before, perhaps, kind of like seems to be kind of creeping back from the stage, like kind of goes back through the curtains and kind of is gesturing to you again and kind of pointing across the crossover towards the dressing room.
Oh, well, that'll be the next actions for Mercury to get to the dressing room then. So
yeah. So in order to get through here, you're going to have to make a engage in a maneuver challenge to get through here safely.
You're real good at those, aren't you, Mercury?
So good at those. All right, let's go 8 and 6. And that one didn't make it in. So 2 and 4. That's two hits.
Excellent. Yep. You carefully clamber your way through, and the fire spirit never quite like kind of is just insistently pointing at the dressing room, and once you kind of it's clear that you're heading in that direction, it kind of like gives you a wave and then moves back to the stage.
Okay.
All right, so we're actually just about at 11:30 here, so I'm kind of thinking about how to kind of like put a cap on this. So is there anything that Slim is thinking about or thinking about doing as you are sort of stuck in this small prop room with this girl?
The next thing I was going to do is just try to do a quick provide aid with my medical kit thing.
Great.
Try to help, reduce the amount of damage that this poor girl's taken.
Yep. So in this case, you will be using a let's see here. I would say that's a stabilizing a victim. So that's going to be a utilized challenge of 1 plus the target's injury. So we're going to say a 2.
All right. Here we go. The only thing I got is my tool. So do the thing.
2 successes on 3 dice, Don. Oh, it's back.
That's a 15, a 30, or a 3, depending on how you look at it.
Well, 30 is technically even.
No.
But that's not what it is, yeah.
Yeah. And a 5. So that's 3 failures.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just like, it's, you're basically in complete darkness, so it's really hard
still!
to... Yeah. And
you're a mummy now!
she definitely is not keen to have you trying to like wrap a bandage too tightly around her burn or anything like that, so she's not super cooperative right now. So kind of like I think sort of where we'll kind of like set the ending scene is basically Mercury, you're kind of like, you sort of have a vantage point to kind of like peer into the dressing room, and you see more of these, these fire spirits, and a lot of them, like there's a few of them clustered around this door. They seem to be very intently guarding it. They seem to not want anyone to be coming in or out right now, but they're otherwise, not aware that you are there.
Yep, that's my fault.
And I have no idea about that.
Nope.
Well, but apparently whatever's that behind that door is what this other spirit is worried about or is guiding me towards. So, so there's the there's a bunch of spirits in here, right?
Yeah, probably like half a dozen.
So to placate the Embergeist would just be kind of like for one of them, right? Not like a group.
Yeah, so basically when you're placating, it's you would basically have to kind of determine what exactly is like the Embergeist itself. These generally the Embergeist only has sort of like a singular body. So if you had to guess, these would probably be like an Embergeist minions of some kind. One of them might be the Embergeist, but you can't identify right now which one that might be. However, you can generally like Embergeist minions can kind of be dealt with in the same way that an Embergeist is. So like you could try to attempt to placate one of them or an individual one, but it won't placate the actual Embergeist itself.
Gotcha.
Well, we're also about to the point where we're going to go through another blaze level increase.
Yep.
So I think it's to kind of escape time. So I'm just going to kind of see something important is behind that door. So I'm going to try and, since they're focused on it, I'm going to try and get as close as I can without them noticing before I, try and see what's behind it.
All right. Yeah. Let's get a stealth challenge. Let's get a maneuver going on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's I'm gonna get 2 dice, I believe.
Yep,
but that's a 2 and a 6.
Nice.
My D6 and my D8 are doing good on the even numbers.
Me, not so much. Mine have just been like all over. It's been wild card kind of night.
So yeah, I was kind of like get up there kind of close to him and then kind of strike with surprise maybe and kind of fling open the door.
Yeah. So yeah, did you roll a maneuver?
Yeah, it was 2 hits.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. You they seem thoroughly enough distracted that you're able to kind of like get close and kind of like just enough so when they notice you, they can't really react as you just like jump through and basically push the doors open, and all of a sudden there's light, lots of light, partially from flaming spirits that are now enraged and have more things to jump at. So I think that's kind of the climax point that we're going
It's a mummy!
That.
Yeah, it's a little cliffhanger. Do they escape or don't they?
Exactly. So this is the kind of thing where, as one of the things that's going to happen is that things don't go to plan. Even if you had a plan going in, you just don't know what you're going to encounter. So that's actually kind of the embodiment of a character's flame. How does your character react to unexpected circumstances, things not going their way, that kind of thing. So for example, in this moment, maybe Mercury would be like, you know what, I'm just getting out of here. They'll figure out their own way out. So Mercury might actually consider possibly leaving their childhood friend behind. Maybe that's the kind of thing where it's like tough decisions are happening, or perhaps Slim, it's like if the fear just keeps getting to you, like maybe in a moment of total panic you might kind of like try and get the fire spirits to run after Libra instead of you, something like that.
Yeah, it was getting close.
And then obviously you could also like try and so basically all of these decisions are kind of the make up the core of the role playing. It's like what decisions are character gonna make, what decisions are they gonna end up regretting after everything's happened.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really digging the system and how it flows, and like I was telling Jeff, I really like the concept behind that combustion table because it kind of sets this clock in motion. And it's really it really brings the tension to the scene.
Yeah, totally. I was glad that like everything felt smooth and natural to be running. So yeah, I guess like obviously if we don't end up funding for this time around, we're going to be having more fundraising, more marketing stuff. So if you guys are potentially interested in doing another test
Of
play
course.
sometime in the coming months, we can definitely do that.
Absolutely.
100% we are. This was
Yeah.
now I'm like invested too. Like, oh my gosh, what are they going to make it out or aren't they? But
Yeah, exactly.
I 100% agree with Don too. It just kind of flows. That combustion table puts a clock on it, so you can't just like inch your way along. It forces you to move into the story, and thinking about it as actual people and not like fantasy heroic characters too. It does present you with those choices, like you were saying at the end. What is this person gonna do? Are they gonna self-preserve? Are they gonna find another way? Or
I really gotta say that this like hits that exactly what an indie game should do, and that's do what it's designed to do really well, instead of trying to swallow an entire like generic system, because
it's gonna be a new D&D.
Yeah. The only reason D&D is still going is because of the popularity it had for being the first. The system is not designed well.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not designed for everything. It's like that's why there's so many homebrews and stuff like that to like to actually get it to do what people want it to do. So
yeah.
But no, this game does exactly what it needs to do for the setting and genre it has, which is awesome.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Like I'm probably gonna read through it some more, just kind of on my own, just check it out. And if when you do like a re-release or try again, hit us up. We'll help promote it.
Yeah, of course.
We'll bring it back on. We'll get another.
We need to grab. We need to grab. We should grab Jack at least. Maybe Brian.
Yeah, because obviously it's like character a team of 3 or 4 characters is going to be much different than a team of 2, obviously. However, that being said, the system is balanced so that if you have more characters, the combustion table actually happens faster because obviously the turns are spread out, between more characters. So the combustion table is ticking down every 2 turns, 1 for each of you. But if you have 3 characters or 4 characters, it's going to tick down every 3 turns, 4 turns, stuff like that.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And we lost Jeff again. Yeah, our internet is doing great tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's not like freezing the entire stream. Like Jeff tried to run a thing last week, I think it was, and it didn't go super well.
Oh.
You there, Jeff?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I think we can hear him.
Can you hear Jeff?
Did it go away again? Is it not even?
I'm gonna
right at the end. Right at the end, always.
Yep. See you in a sec. Yeah. I was just telling him about how you struggled with your internet last week. I had to jump in and fire up the stream on my machine because his internet was chugging so bad.
This is like, why am I paying for better internet if I'm not getting difference in results? This will be a call to Spectrum and be like, anyway, that's not important. That can wait for another time.
Well, I appreciate so much for you guys having me on and playing.
I'm excited.
The game.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah, definitely keep us in the loop when things kind of go on again. I kind of wish you got on this a little bit sooner to maybe help give you a little push with what you did. But
there's a lot. It's honestly, honestly, it was like we, again, this is kind of my first time doing this big of like a production, and also my team's a lot of their first time. So like, there's a lot of stuff it was just a learning experience, and also of course, this month was not a great thing when Twitter crashed, 2 times and screwed up our marketing and like. So like there was just a bunch of factors that unfortunately made strong headwinds against us, but like we've learned a lot, so we're gonna just apply that all next time around. And like it's been just like really heartening to see people like you guys, see people on Twitter and just like see people be like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I wanna do stuff with this. I wanna learn more about this.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. I'm super stoked to definitely have you back either way, regardless.
This has been like awesome. the most different off the path from the games that we've tried so far. Like it's nothing else is in the same vein as this. So this has been a really good experience for that. And like
I'm
Cool.
digging it. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
So
Happy to hear it.
We'll let you go, but yeah, if you want to drop any
Alrighty.
parting links in the chat before you do, go
Yep.
for it.
Absolutely.
Thanks again, those watching live or on a VOD later. You can
Yeah,
still go check this out. I'm sure the Kickstarter will be done like later today, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday morning. But yeah, actually, can I send you the? I'm actually, I don't think I even have a Twitch account, so I can't post in the comments. But could I send you just like a thing that you can toss in the chat through via Twitter?
Yeah,
Cool. Just with like the links and stuff
Okay.
like that.
absolutely. We'd love to.
Yeah, it's just this one.
Twitter. It works sometimes.
It works sometimes.
Hey, there it is.
All right. All right. I'm gonna hop off, but appreciate it a lot. And yeah, let's play again sometime.
Definitely. And everybody else watching, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Hopefully with better internet.
Yep. And definitely check this out. It's been awesome.
100%.
All right, folks. Stay legendary and
give them a follow.
Yep, absolutely. Check out their Kickstarter, and when it comes back around, help them out for sure. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.